will destroy them all.
Welcome to the Coordinate, where people read books about other people getting eaten by other people, or something along those lines. Hi, welcome to the Coordinate. Yeah, I didn't really plan that one out very well. As if you could tell. Yes, welcome to the Coordinate, a attack on Python.
Python?
Oh man, my I need to let some more coffee sink into my system. Yes.
Yeah, you would think that it was like morning for you.
yeah. It's like what, 5 a.m. for you or something?
No. it's like 8:30.
8:30. Sounds too bad.
Yeah, it's 5 for Troy. That's why you're getting.
Yes, you guys live all over the place. So many time zones. How do you cope? Yes, welcome to the Coordinate, a Attack on Titan podcast, or Steve, do they do with anything? Oh yeah, so Tyler, you take over.
Yeah. So I'm Tyler. Bill's the one having a stroke.
It's always good to pull faces on the podcast.
Yep. Today we're talking about the third arc of Attack on Titan, which confusingly is the second arc if you're watching the anime, because they like switch this part up. But yeah, we're talking about the whole like 104th training. What do they call it? Squad? Class?
Cool.
Corps?
Cool.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure I have that written down somewhere. It seems important. But yeah, we're talking about the training sequence, essentially.
Yes,
it's basically
episode 3 if you're watching the anime. Yes, full metal jacket.
Except for no one.
What is your major malfunction, Private Pile?
Listen here, maggot.
Yeah, he does like using the word maggot a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But yes, do we want to dive? We don't want to dive straight in, though, do we? Into Shingeki no Kyojin?
Yeah, not just yet. Let's check for reviews. We have none.
Woo! A clean sweep of the board. Well, we have none from the US and none from the UK that I can see.
Yep, we might have some in some other countries, but iTunes makes that hard to check. So we'll check for that next time. But hey, if you're listening and you like what you're hearing, leave us a review.
Yes, please leave a review. It really helps expand the show on Apple's crazy way of advertising other shows to people.
Yeah.
Which is just nonsensical. I just don't get it.
Yeah, get us into that top chart.
Yeah, we want to hit the top 200s for obscure anime podcasts.
I'm pretty sure I chose for us to be like our genre is like manga. I feel like there can't be that many manga podcasts, right? Like
I think you'll be surprised. I mean, there was there's a good few Attack on Titan podcasts to begin with. But,
yeah, well, none
of them.
As far as I can tell, yeah, this is the only Attack on Titan podcast that's focused on the manga. The rest are like just the anime. So
yeah. I did see a thing as well where it said if you were very quick to change over your podcasting, what do you call it, the category that you belong to. There was a lot of people who just instantly hit the top 200 because they were the first people to change into the new categories.
Oh, nice.
So they just instantly got a huge boost. It was like, oh, okay. So, yeah.
All right. So, yeah, before we get into it, Bill and I were both on another podcast called Best Animated Shows Ever So Far, where we talk about Attack on Titan.
I think you got the name wrong. It's Best Animated Shows So Far.
You forgot Ever.
There you go. Troy would be pleased with
that. Yeah. I'll edit in the Ever.
So Far.
Yeah. So we're on 2 different episodes of that. Both of those should be out by now, I think.
Yes, they should be out by the time this comes out. If not, spoilers. Tyler does. He's on the first episode, and I actually do a full-blown takeover for the second episode. So,
yeah.
Yes.
If you don't like Troy,
I did not eat Troy, sadly. Although I promised I would, I forgot.
I thought it'd be a good setup if you ate him, and that's why it's not on the episode. But it's
maybe we can do
the Bill and MC show.
I think that sounds like an awesome idea for a show. the Bill and MC show.
If you don't know who MC and Troy are, go listen to the best anime shows ever so far. I'll edit in the pause. There'll be a link in the show notes, and we'll put like their trailer at the end of this episode. So
yes, but just to be clear, they are reviewing the animated series.
Yep.
Whereas we're manga heads. Although, admittedly, we are covering pretty much episode 3 of the mangas of the of the TV show today.
Is this all done in one episode?
Well, the first two chapters are the third episode. But it's like you said, how he kind of changed up the way things happen in the TV series.
Mm-hmm.
So the TV series very much jumps in with the fall of
Shiganshina.
Shimigami Tensei, whatever it is, Chicken Shima. The fall of Chicken Shima, followed by what we are then going to read today, and then it goes back to what we then read last week, which was the retaking of Trost.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. So you wanna start out this discussion?
Should we just dive in?
Yep. Yeah, and I think we can probably go in as much detail as we want to on this one because it's pretty short compared to the last episode.
It is pretty short. So, Shingeki, whatever it is.
No Kyojin.
No Kyojin. So I think we're starting on chapters 15 today. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And great, my thing's reloaded and I've lost my page.
Okay. Well, we find our 3 heroes in a field of like some kind of like vegetable or something with some old people, and they're just like they're picking they're doing the harvest.
Woohoo! But in winter for some strange reason.
Yeah.
It's just like that was good forward thinking.
Well, they're doing that because they sent like a good, what was it, like 40% of humanity to their death. So I think they're a little short on like hands.
Yeah. But again, this is kind of what I mentioned last time about there's some sort of weird wasteland which no one seems to talk about, and every time they refer to it, it's always winter. But yes, so chapter 15, which is called One by One. And we start off in the year 878. So we're still 2,000 years off whatever happens later. And there's just some angry army guy going like, God, why isn't anything growing? We're all going to starve to death. And they're just saying like, we put all the elderly and the children that are left to work. And stuff's not really growing. We didn't really plan it out very well.
That's so weird that it's the elderly and the children doing this. Like the soldiers, like most of them aren't doing anything.
I know. You think it'd keep them fit as well, but they just seem to be walking around complaining that they haven't got any food to eat.
They're like, we're all going to starve. Like, this is great.
And then the old people are always like, and then the old people were actually talking to, because we see Erin and Miss Mikasa here, and they're like, hey, what about you kids? You should be doing a military training this year, shouldn't you?
And they're like,
yeah, I suppose. And then Armin's he's all sorts of pissed off.
Yeah, because his parents got sent to their deaths.
It's like, my parents were murdered, so there would be fewer mouths to feed. I assume he talks like King Eastwood. Although, as we actually know, Armin talks like a prepubescent boy whose voice is about to break.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's not the voice I would give Armin.
My parents were murdered, so there will be fewer mouths to feed. Yes, I think Erin's definitely the Clint Eastwood of the group.
I can see that.
I'm going to kill all the Titans. There we go. We'll do some funny voices as we go along. Yes, and then we see Armin's bum.
We see Armin's what?
we see Armin's bum.
Oh yeah, I guess we do.
Yeah, he's just standing there with his hands behind his back, as our good old friend. Now they don't actually mention I don't think they mention his name.
Yeah, but we talked about him in the first episode. This is good old Keith.
This is Keith. What's his last name?
I always say it wrong. It's spelled like Shadis, but I think they pronounce it like Sadies. I'm pretty sure
it's Shardy, isn't it? I think he was referred to in from watching the anime.
I don't know. I like to call him Keith because it's easy to say.
Keith.
Good old Keith.
Keith he shaved his head, and he's I think he's breeded with Skeletor as well in between the last time we saw him. His eyes
he's got
just
like
sunken
dark
into
eyes.
his head.
Yeah, I think it's because he's depressed, and I think he probably ripped all of his hair out after leading, all those people to their death in the first chapter.
Indeed, yeah, because he was the guy who, led all the Survey Corps people to the death at the very beginning of this, and gave the old woman her son's hand back. Which we keep coming back to that, but it's just because it's like, why?
You just get rid of that arm and I don't know, maybe cremate it and give her the ashes, but why give her the arm?
I know. I mean, he might as well have just slapped her around the face with her dead son's hand.
So he asked Armin in a second. He's like, "What's your name, maggot?" And Armin tells him his name is Armin. Do you think and then he insults his name. He's like, "That's a dumb name." Do you think it's because he's thinking of that arm?
I don't think so. I think it's because I think he kind of almost backs out of insulting Armin too much about anything, because Armin says, I'm Armin Owlet of Shingeki district.
And he's like,
and then there's a little scene in a second with some other people, some other army people passing by, talking about the fact, this is the initiation rites, and basically you get shouted and humiliated at. Mm-hmm. And one of the people says, why is he skipping some of them? It's like, well, you can see they were in Shingeki. So,
well, they don't necessarily say they're in Shingeki, but they say they've been through some kind of rite of passage. They've seen some shit because they focus on Annie, Reiner, Berthold,
who are all within the walls of Wall Maria, which is the one that's now fallen.
And then Eren and Mikasa, and a person that they don't give a name to in this arc, I don't think. Her name's Ymir, but she doesn't give a name. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't noticed her yet.
Yeah, she's the one that's friends with Krista.
Which one's
Do you know who Krista is? She's the short blonde one that's not Annie.
Oh, is she the one who helps Sasha?
Yes.
In a bit. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. And Ymir's the one that's kind of like an asshole.
Okay. Those two. Right, yeah, okay. I know the two you're talking about now. I just hadn't put the names to them. I'm still trying to get the names to all these people, even though these next couple of chapters really try and hammer home the names of everyone.
I thought you were going to say, the next few chapters, they try to thin out the herd so there's less names to remember.
I think they do that constantly.
Yeah, because they're like, this is Marco. Marco's dead.
This is Marco. Here's his corpse. You may remember this from the last episode. No, I don't remember anyone. Just everyone got eaten in the last episode.
Thomas, the guy who we see die first, has one little tiny moment in here, and they refer to him by his last name. So I had to look that up to see that was him.
Okay.
He's the guy who jumps into the Titan's mouth, and he's like, "I'm gonna get you."
Right. Yes. See, I can see why he decided to put this bit earlier on in the anime.
Yeah.
It's here are your characters. Oh, now after this, you'll see some of them get eaten. Whereas it's just hang on, was he in the last one? Did he die? Is he? Yeah, you just get really confused with it all. But yes, I can see that lady now. The dark-haired one.
Yeah. Keith is just being an asshole to all the kids. Sounds funny, but yeah, I think one of the big ones that he does is talking to the person I like to call Gene, but it's more pronounced like John in the anime.
Oh, so I see. I kept reading it as Jean, but if you say that means it's the French pronunciation, which is Jean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, that's brilliant. He's like, "What's your name? What are you doing here?" He's like, "I want to join the military police brigade."
The military poo.
Yes, the military poo. So, just for a bit of reference on the three parts of the army, you've got the survey corps, who are basically people who are sent out beyond the wall to survey,
and then become corpse.
Yeah, and then they become corpses very quickly. So that's for the hardcore people. You then get the garrison, who are the people who are assigned to, basically protect the walls, walk around the towns. They are just basically policemen.
Yeah. They also do repairs to the walls.
Do they? Yep. Oh yeah, and they're the ones who man all the cannons and stuff. And then you get the ones who, the elite of the elite, so the best of the best from the training, end up going to join the military police,
where they see no action.
Yes, where they see no action, but it's the best of the best are there to protect the king. And yeah, I've watched a lot of the anime, and I've now been reading a fair bit of this manga, and that's the only time we ever really get a mention of the king. Is that the best of the best are sent to protect him. So hopefully he'll show up a bit later on. We'll find out more about the king. But yeah, because he mentions that he wants to join the military police, Sade's just headbutts him. Crack! and he falls to the floor because, Jean is essentially a child. I assume all these people... I assume it's like there's probably a conscription age of like 16 where you're allowed to then join the army.
I think they're younger than that. They were 12, I think, when they were in the field. So I think they're like 13 now. 13, maybe 14.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So, you have to reach a certain age, but you're still quite young when you're allowed to go through military training. It's not conscription, because conscription is where you're made to do it. You can I think it's voluntary. Is it voluntary?
I'm not sure. I thought it was. But then when they're in the field, they make it seem like they have to do the training. Like then maybe they have to do the training, but then they don't have to apply after that. It's up to them. Yeah,
I think the idea is that most people go and do the training because it's kind of considered like an honor thing. Yeah. And also, while you're doing the training, you do get fed. So a lot of people go just to be fed for a couple of years if they can last through the training.
But yeah, I know like maybe it's if they fell, then they just don't get to be in the military. Because I know they mention when Aaron's having difficulties, like there's no shame in like being a producer.
Yes. So. Yeah. So if you fail, you get sent back to the fields basically. But I think a lot of people seem to do it for the food because there's a huge like back thing of famine in this, but they just never really refer to it much. But yeah, I love the fact that he headbutts him, and then the first thing he says, "Who gave you permission to sit down?" Just like, yeah, that's a dickhead drill instructor. He headbutts a 12-year-old and then tells him off for falling over. You're a grown man, Sade.
He's a scary looking man, like the eyes sunken in, the bald head, like he's got like a little goatee, I think. Or at least looks like he does in some pictures.
But yeah, he basically just walks around humiliating everyone. So next he picks on Marco.
Marco looks like Archie to me. Like Archie from the Archie comics.
Yeah,
he's like this very like happy-go-lucky. He's got freckles.
I am very confused though by what Sade whispers to Marco to like scare him. Where he says, "I'm positive the king's got no interest in your scrawny body." Like, does the king molest the military police?
He likes his boys beefy.
Yeah, he likes beefy boys. Yeah, and then he moves on to Connie, who is a big main character in our lot. Yeah. So Connie's one to remember. He's a short blonde kid.
Connie's doing his salute backwards because he's an idiot.
He does his salute wrong, so he puts his fist against his his left side or right side?
His right side.
He puts it on his right, but your heart's on your left. So he literally just reaches out, picks Connie up by his skull, lifts him off the floor. Like, is your heart on the right side, Connie? And then we hear a crunch.
Oh yeah. And like Keith's face when this happens is hilarious.
I know. I mean, I love this because if you have seen something like Full Metal Jacket, like and you see like the training that they put these people through and like what the drill instructors are supposed to be like, this is amazing because it is just like, what are you doing? This is my favorite character. This is Sasha. And Sasha is standing in amongst all this parade while the drill instructor Sade is going around and holding Connie up off the ground by his skull. And she just starts eating a potato. And he just looks at her. It's like shock on his face. It's just so good. I want that to be the episode 1 now.
Yeah. Like he just like drops Connie because he's just like, I don't care about this anymore. Like why are you eating a potato?
It's just such a good scene. It's like, what the hell are you doing? You scum, I'm talking to you. And she finishes eating her potato. She finishes her bite first, chews it, gulps it down, says who she is. She's Sasha Blouse. And he's just like, "What's in your right hand?" "It's a steamed potato, sir." It's just so good. "Why are you eating a steamed potato?" "They lose their taste when they get cold." It's like, "No, I don't understand. Why'd you eat the potato?" And she gives the fantastic thing of, "Are you asking me why people eat potatoes in general?" And then we get the scene of all the other recruits just like looking on in shock.
Yeah.
And then she splits the potato in half and gives half of it to Shardis.
Yeah, and then we just get like a very close-up look of his eyes, and he's can't believe what's happening.
I know, that's the same sort of look that most of the other characters get when they see their friends being eaten by titans. It's that look of sheer look and horror and despair, and like he's lost all hope. And this is like the final straw of him losing hope.
Yeah, and then Sasha's just got like this, like she looks high, like her facial expression, like she's just like, I don't know,
almost
if it's because she hasn't eaten in so long or something.
I think
like
she either looks pleased with herself for eating, pleased with herself for giving half to Shardis, and thinking she's diffused the situation. But we don't see Shardis' reaction. It just skips forward, and she's been made to run until she dies.
Yep.
Oh no, sorry, run until she's almost dead. That was her punishment. The recruits all standing around watching her run around in circles, comment on the fact that she looked more disappointed and upset when Shardis said, "You have to run till you're almost dead, and you're not allowed to eat tonight."
I think they say she's been running for like 5 hours.
Yeah, it's something along those lines. Yeah. And then we get to the point where some of the recruits ask Erin, "Hey, where are you from?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm from Chicken-Shima."
Chicken-Shima.
Sorry, I can't stop it now. Chicken-Shima. I'm from Chicken-Shima, same as Armin. And they're like, "Oh my god!"
Connie's like, "Wow, you must have saw the Colossus Titan."
Yep. And then this is where we flick into the mess hall where they're sitting around eating food, and Erin's just like, "Yeah, I saw him. He was this big." No, it wasn't that big.
Yeah, there's like some really good foreshadowing in this like scene that I can't tell you about yet. We'll talk about it in 2 months, I think.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So remind me.
Oh man, I never remember.
Yeah, I'll try to remember.
Oh, foreshadowing. That's interesting. Oh,
Yep.
I wonder what the foreshadowing. I had seen in the comment sections at the end of some of the chapters where people were just like, "This is my second reread, and oh my god, the foreshadowing is amazing." That's one of the things I like about the Wheel of Time as well. Another podcast I had. It's just rereading the first book. It's just like, oh my god, there's stuff in here which is in like book 15, which is like the book after the bloke had died who was writing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that I'd forgotten about. Like, I forgot Marco was a person until he's like mentioned. Maybe next time he's mentioned after his death is maybe like chapter like 100.
Oh really? just something comes back to Marco.
Yeah, they're like, "You guys remember Marco?" Like, no.
So we basically get a little bit of a scene with Erin, and who's the guy who's kind of picking a fight with Erin?
That's John.
Oh, is that Jean? Jean.
Do you want to call him Gene? Let's call him Gene.
Let's call him
way
Gene.
more comfortable with Gene.
Yeah, it always makes me think of Jean Grey for some reason from the X-Men. But
yeah, like Genes are spelled like his name, but like Gene, the name is Gene usually. So that should have been the giveaway. But Aaron's also spelled differently than the typical name Aaron. Anyways, not important.
Yeah, back on point. But Gene sort of says, "You're a bit of a dick." Yeah. They almost get into a fight, and then Gene's like, "Oh, sorry, I always just speak my mind."
Yeah,
and they kind of just
being honest.
Yeah, I'm just being honest, and they kind of just resolve that whole situation fairly quickly. But this is where Gene gets his first glimpse of Mikasa. And he gets a little bit tongue-tied.
Yeah, so it's kind of a little creeper.
Yeah, a little bit, very creepy. He's like, "You've got really beautiful black hair."
He's like, I've never seen an Asian before. Oh.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to splooge himself.
Yeah,
but
he's a weeb now.
He's a weeb now. He's the only weeb in Attack on Titan.
He's the first weeb.
And then when he sees Mikasa walking off of Erin, and Erin tells her off because her hair's got really long. Tells her she's got to cut it because otherwise she's going to have an accident when she's doing her training. He, for some reason, just wipes his hand on Connor as he's walking past. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing wiping your hand on me? What are you wiping off anyway?" And he's like, "My faith in humanity." It's just like, I don't get it.
So I didn't until just now. I think maybe it's because he thinks Mikasa is like hot and does it, and thinks she's like, well, she is obsessed with Eren. So like, I think he doesn't get that.
But it's still such a strange thing to do. Like, why wipe your back on someone?
Yeah,
your hand on someone's back.
I'm like, oh, that's my faith in humanity. But yeah.
And then we get now we're back to Sasha. This is the important stuff.
So there's also maybe some foreshadowing in here. Just like the way that Sasha looks when she like comes up from like Krista comes up to her with some bread because she's just like passed out on the ground, and then she like has this crazy look about her like she's about to just like eat her.
Yes, but she just snatches the bread out of her hands and eats it instead. Yeah, so Sasha basically, as instructed, collapses from exhaustion from her run. So as she was told to do, run until you basically die. And then Krista, is that her name?
Yes.
Krista. So Krista, who's a very short blonde.
No, nothing. No, I didn't say anything.
So yeah, Krista, who's a very short blonde girl, brings Sasha some bread and some water. And yes, Sasha does suddenly. I like it in the anime as well because she's like almost like this is very anime. She just suddenly like it's almost like a hyena just like flying through the air, takes the bread, starts scoffing it down, and then Krista's like, "Hey, that'll go down nicely with some water."
Yeah, and Sasha looks up at Krista and she's like, "God."
God. Yeah, and that's a slight difference between this and the anime, because in this she calls her God, which is fair enough. We don't know what God's sexual orientation is. Sexual orientation? That's not right.
Gender?
Gender would have been a much better explanation. I'm sure God swings every way.
Speaking of sexual orientations, so it's not really shown too much here.
Tyler's about to admit something to us all here.
But Krista and Ymir are like maybe in a relationship. I think it might be a one-way relationship. I think Ymir is into Krista and Krista is not
into Sasha.
Maybe. And Sasha's into potatoes. So
yes. So it's the ultimate love triangle, or square if you include the potato.
What is the potato into? No one ever asked.
Other potatoes. But yes, in the anime, she's referred to as Goddess.
Oh.
I feel like they put it out now. But yes, so Krista is just helping Sasha to be nice because she feels like she would need something to eat after running for like 12 hours or whatever it was. And who's the other girl?
Ymir.
And yeah, Ymir is just like, I tell you what, I'll help you, but only because then I can blackmail Sasha for a favour later. Anyway. And then we get to the next day and the training.
Yep, and we just see Eren just failing at his vertical maneuvering gear training. He just keeps flipping over.
Yep. So to take note from my other podcast, one of many, the Bestiary, the vertical maneuver training. So we know these guys from the Trost district, the Battle of Trost, have their BDM gear. Is that it? BDM?
BDM,
yeah, they've got the BDM gear. And then once they finish tying each other up and having sex, they put on their vertical maneuvering gear, and they're able to fly around like Spider-Man, basically. Mm-hmm. And in training, they have this kind of like weird tripod thing set up with two straps that come down and attach to their belt, so they can practice the idea of being strapped in and vertical. And some people are very good at it, which appears to be most of the characters we've met so far, and some people, as they indicate, are not very good at it. We just see a picture of Eren hanging upside down with a very sad look in his face, like, oh my god, I can't do this, I'm so bad.
He's like,
and then
this
that
is
ends.
not how it was supposed to end. I was
Yeah.
supposed to get eaten.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was supposed to be more. I was supposed to be a Titan, which we already know.
Yeah.
And then that leads us into chapter 16, where we basically just see him failing a lot more and actually knocking himself unconscious.
Yeah, there's at least one good Sasha moment in this chapter. Aaron, Mikasa, and Armin's just there. He's not really talking, but Aaron and Mikasa are like arguing. Mikasa is like basically being like, maybe it's not the worst thing if you don't pass. Like, I'll go not be a soldier with you. That'll be great. We don't have to die.
Yes.
And Aaron gets mad and like leaves after Mikasa points out that it's not up to him if he gets to be a soldier or not. And then Sasha comes and sits in his place. He's like, can I eat this?
Yeah, there's just a bit of bread left on the table.
Well, like she's pointing at like his like food or whatever, and then oh no, yep, it is the bread. And then Mikasa picks it up and eats it.
Well, that again, that's because I watched episode 3 for the best anime shows so far. Yeah, because I watched that episode, which basically covers the last chapter in this chapter. In this moment, Mikasa says, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm not hungry," and gets up and walks off. And then Sasha eats the bread. Whereas
Weird.
in this, Sasha asks her if she can eat it, and then Mikasa just reaches out, picks up the bread, stares at her in the eyes, and goes, and just starts eating it. And then we get Krista and
Ymir.
Ymir. Oh yeah, she says Krista there. And Ymir shout, "Hey, you're supposed to be getting some water for us." So they are already treating Sasha like a slave.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just love Sasha. She calls Krista her benefactor, and she calls Krista her god, and Ymir her benefactor. And Krista's like, "Hey, you can't treat her like this." And then we switch over to Erin just begging everyone for advice on how to stop falling over.
Yeah, he goes
Erin's got a big
Connie
bandage around his head as well.
First. Yeah. So he goes to Connie and Jean first, and they kind of just make fun of him. He's like, "I would love for you to show me how you can just like publicly embarrass yourself and keep on going. Like that is a skill." Like,
yeah, and Connie's just like, "Hey man, I'm just a natural. There's no trick to it. You just feel it."
Yeah. Connie's just like, "I'm just good. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm just fucking awesome." So yeah, and Marco's like, "Hey, don't worry about those guys." I assume Marco did well also, so I don't know why he doesn't just give him advice. But he's like, "You should go talk to
Reiner
and Bertold."
Yeah, Bertold. Bertold. Such a strange name. Yeah. He basically says like, those two are actually the best at this in our group, so you might want to go talk to them. And they're just like sitting solemnly on top of their bunk.
And I don't know if they are older than everyone else, but they look way older. Bigger than everyone else.
Yeah, they are bigger and they do look older.
Yeah,
but this is where we.
Reiner kind of his personality is like being like a big brother to everyone.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, I like Reiner. And but yeah, we find out that Reiner and Berlo, because they start asking questions to the guys about what happened with Shigashima and all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we find out that those two were actually also from Inside Wall Mario. Yep. Maria. Hang on. Maria. Where did I get Mario from?
Did you say Mario?
I said Mario, yeah. We've got Wall Mario, Wall Luigi, and Princess
Wall
Peach.
Mario.
Your Titan is in another castle.
So I just noticed, like, looking at these pictures, like, Aaron totally looks like a mental patient with that bandage on his head. Like, he has these really big eyes.
Yeah, he really does. But yeah, those two were from a small village inside the walls, and so they didn't get a warning that the Titans were attacking. They just basically got woke up by like loud rumbling footsteps in the night. Mm-hmm. And then you see the picture where one of them opened his window and there's just a Titan staring at him. Peekaboo. I can see you.
Yeah, and so let's see. So they ask Armin and Aaron, like, why do you guys want to be soldiers so much? And Armin's like, well, I'm just really pissed that my parents got killed by the fucking military. But should do an Armin voice. Well, I'm just really mad because my parents got killed.
For famine. So they sort of, there's just big back and forth about who's cowardly and who's not.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, like, Aaron's kind of just like same thing. When like Armin gives his spill, it's totally not the same thing because like Aaron just wants to kill Titans. He wanted to kill Titans before his mom died. He wants to kill Titans after his mom died. So
because he says, like, I am actually terrified, but I've got something that's stronger than my terror. That's my need to kill Titans. Every last one of them.
Yeah, and Reiner and Bertold just have this like shocked face, like they're talking to a psychopath, because they kind of are.
Yep, and then we find out that all Reiner wants to do is actually go back to his village, even though he knows there's probably nothing left.
Yeah.
And so he kind of like finds some common ground with Erin. Now, again, just a little point out for the differences between the anime and this. In the anime, Reiner, Bertolt, Erin, and Armin go off into the night to practice the vertical training. So they go out and they literally spend all night practicing with his special gear on.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like
whereas this,
Reiner's just like, well, I don't really think I have the words to tell you how to do this, so just good luck.
I know you've got it in you, Aaron. But in this one, it just sort of he just says, yeah, I believe in you, Aaron, and then it just skips to the Aaron the next day doing his final test, and he gets put into the air, and he manages to sort of hold it for a few seconds, and then he's like having a big inner monologue about how his willpower is his real weapon, and then he stacks it and hits his face on the floor again. And at this point, Shardy's gets a little exclamation mark next to his head, which is the international symbol for that's not normal. And he walks over and he tells Reiner, doesn't he?
Nope. This is where Thomas shows up.
That's Thomas.
Yeah, I forgot his last name.
Tells Thomas to swap belts with Aaron, and then they swap belts. They lift Aaron into the air, and he easily stays on his, doesn't hit himself on his head. And this is where Shardy's explains that the metal fixing in his belt was broken. Because these things are supposed to be around the waist, it's supposed to be if you flip over, you don't hit your head on the floor. You sort of still stay in the air. So he knew from the fact that Aaron actually kept, knocking himself unconscious, his belt was broken. And he said, like, I think he also says that this never happens, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like, this like rarely fails. And then he's also like, I wonder if anyone, like, he held himself for a second. I wonder if anyone else could even do that.
Yeah, I like that bit. So we get the scene where everyone's like, look at Aaron's eyes. He's saying, look at me, I can do this. And then Mikasa's is like, no, he's just happy that he won't be separated from me.
Yeah. Which what Aaron's actually thinking is he's kind of like, suck on it, Mikasa. Because he says, like, how about that, Mikasa? Like,
I'm sure he does want her to suck on it. But how about that, Mikasa? I can do it. I can fight the Titans. You'll never have to take care of me again. So, yeah, Aaron's just like, Misaka, you don't have to worry about me. I've got this. Misaka's just like, great, now I don't have to leave him because I need to look after him. And everyone else is like, hey, you can do it. And then, we see Shardy's just like, this doesn't, he doesn't seem to excel, but could anyone else have balanced with this broken belt? And then also we get the weird bit where he goes, Grisha, today your son became a soldier. So Shardy's knows Erin's mum.
Well, Grisha's his dad.
Oh, is it?
But he also, he knows his parents.
What? They always call him Doctor something.
Dr. Jaeger?
Dr. Jaeger. Was his first name Grisha?
Yep. His mom's name is Carla.
Carla Jaeger?
He knows both of them. You'll find out more in 60 chapters.
Great.
Yeah, it's a good long ways. It's season 3 of the anime.
I'm glad I caught that bit.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
Moving on. So now we're in like Reiner and Aaron are doing some hand-to-hand combat training.
Yep.
Where Reiner's got a knife it's a wooden knife, and he's running at Eren, and Eren just like flips him over his shoulder.
Yeah, Eren's pretty good at hand-to-hand combat, even though he's questioning why they bother with hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah. And he says, like, so Reiner asks him, like, how are you so good at this? I'm, like, so much bigger than you. And he's like, I used to play with this really big kid. And I don't know if he actually used to play with a really big kid, or he's just talking about that one time he killed those men. Because then he has, like, a flashback to the whole knife room situation.
Yes. I don't think he means them. I don't think he's talking about that. But yeah, we do have that weird flashback. I think that's just because of him holding the blade.
Yeah, and talking about, like, you're not going to win usually if you don't have a weapon and the other person does.
And then Reiner calls over Annie.
Yeah, this is funny. I really like this chapter. It kind of just seems like them having fun.
Yes.
And also, it's like the most you get to see of Annie. And Annie's just like kind of like sulking, like not interested in anything. And Reiner's like, she's the one who really needs this lesson. Eren, go show her. So he talks up how he's going to like teach her, and then makes Eren go fight her.
Yeah. And then Eren goes at her, and she basically just like sweeps him to the floor. And then he gets up, has another go, and she manhandles him to the floor by kicking the back of his legs out, and then jumps on top of him and holds a knife to his throat.
Yeah. And there's some good foreshadowing in this scene too, but well, it's not really foreshadowing. It's something that you'll like call back to later. You should know it because it happens in season 1, and you've seen season 1 of the anime.
Right, yeah. Well,
we won't spoil it for
people who maybe haven't read as far as we have or seen as far as we have. And so she just basically humiliates him. But there's also a big thing about how a lot of the people don't take the hand-to-hand stuff seriously, even though they probably should.
I really like the panel where Eren's laying on his back with like his butt in his face because he's like flopped over after you kicked him, and he's like, "You're going to teach her the responsibility of being a soldier, right, Reiner?" And Reiner's like,
He falls on his face onto his butt.
Yeah, he's clearly not interested in it, but he does it.
But I found that really strange because that actually confused me for a second because Eren was on his bum. And then the next panel, Reiner's on his bum and Eren's sort of sitting up. I was just like, what happened there? And then we go back to the mess hall.
Where let's see, I don't remember how it starts, but I know Jean and Eren get into a fight.
Yeah, again, it's just
the same, like how he wants to be military police, and Eren thinks he's a coward. And
no, I think it's to do with the vertical maneuvering gear. They get into an argument. I think he's still taking the mick out of Eren, saying like how he was talking it all up, but he's not actually that good.
Yeah, and I know Eren's pissed about the whole like how the best of the best never see any action. They go join the military police, and then humanity, the rest of, I don't know what you want to call the walled in, the rest of humanity doesn't have their protection. It's just basically the king.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they get into a big fight.
And then Eren realizes he has the skills to finish it and uses that kick that Annie used on him earlier. Yes.
And because we get a quick glimpse of Reiner and Annie looking at the situation from over Jean's shoulder. And he just sweeps out Jean's legs and throws him to the floor like it was nothing. And he's like, what? And then Shardays comes in. It's like, hey, I heard a noise. What the fuck's going on? And Mikasa goes, it was Sasha letting out a huge fart.
Sasha's just like so alarmed.
And it also looks like Sasha's behind Mikasa stealing her bread.
Yeah. Does that happen in the anime?
Yes,
I remember it does.
That does happen in the anime.
Because it kind of seems out of character for Mikasa to talk about farts to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, but she does just suddenly pop up and go, it was Sasha farting.
And everyone's like, that's believable.
You again, huh?
Learn some self-control.
Yeah, and then basically Eren and Jean just decide that they'll do it. They'll resume their fight another time.
Yeah, and so that inspires Jean to actually focus on the combat training.
Yeah, to actually pay attention to his training during the sword fighting.
And so Annie and Eren are talking, and Annie's like, hey, you want me to show you some moves? Like the hard way? And Eren's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, because she explains to Eren as well that actually it was her dad that taught her martial arts.
Yeah.
And she said he basically just kept attacking her while she was little.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she was interested in learning. He just didn't give her the choice.
And yeah, then she just spends like a lot of time just throwing Eren onto the floor by the looks of it. Yep. And then we get a public service announcement about hardened steel.
Ultra hard steel. Ultra hard steel.
Which apparently they use for their blades.
Yeah, I know not everyone knows how to make it. It's just people in the certain factory towns.
Yes, certain factory towns.
Yep.
Right, and then we...
So the thing about steel hardness, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but the thing about steel hardness is the harder the steel is, the more brittle it is.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
So
it seems really weird. So they must be putting something else in there still.
But there's certain categories of steel that, like have good embrittlement, good strength, good corrosion resistance. What do you think this ultra hard steel is?
I assume it's made from Titan semen.
Titans don't have penises.
But they still have semen.
It's another Bill fan theory right there.
Hey, they still got, they don't have digestive tracts, but they still have a stomach with digestive fluid inside.
Yeah, maybe their testicles don't drop.
Yeah, they're just doing something. They're in there somewhere producing semen.
All right. You heard it here first. So yeah, now we go on to... I don't remember 18. This from the anime at all. Yeah, so they're like...
I vaguely remember it. So this is chapter 18. What should I do now? And we get the thing with Armin. Yeah, there's a few things in the anime about how Armin struggles with his training. Mm-hmm. And they're like running through the forest, and as it Reiner Armin's really struggling to keep up. Obviously, he's considered to be quite small and weak, and I think Reiner runs up behind him and grabs his backpack, and then it inspires Armin to be like, no, I don't want people helping me out. I've got to do this by myself. Yeah. Takes his backpack on and runs past Shardes.
I think it's funny because they always talk about how weak Armin is, and he's like, you see him like a few chapters from now with like his shirt off, and he has a literal 8-pack. And it's like, how are they still talking about him being weak? I guess it's like that like super skinny 6-pack, it's not like, he's not muscular. He's
like Thai kickboxers.
So, yeah.
Those guys look really small, but oh my God, just every part of their body, every part of their body is just pure muscle. And it's just like, yeah, you don't want to get in a fight with those guys. They may only be 5 foot tall and skinny as hell, but they could easily snap your neck. But yeah, we're basically, they're doing their maneuvering gear through the forest.
Yep. And they're attacking fake Titans. They're like I don't know, cardboard, plywood. I don't know what materials they have.
Yeah, they've just got these huge cardboard fake cutout Titans with some big pillows on their neck.
Yep. I'm assuming they're like sandbags or something.
Yeah, I think for some reason in the anime, now I might just be making this up because it's been a while since I've seen it. I feel like that was like a pig.
A pig?
Yeah.
They just have pigs strapped to them. The pig's just like...
I think it was sort of like, like a big hunk of meat just to simulate the idea of going through the meat.
I was just imagining a live pig tied to like a cardboard cutout of a Titan.
Yeah. But yeah, then this is where we get like, a little snippet of everyone's personalities.
Yep. So Armin's the weak one, but he's smart. Mikasa's the one who's good at literally everything.
Yep.
Berthold's pretty good at everything, but doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah, he doesn't like making decisions.
Yep.
Annie's also amazing at everything, but a complete loner.
Yep. What did they say about Reiner? I don't remember.
No, I can't remember. But yeah, we get because I think Reiner's a bit further down.
Yeah, I know Gene's good at things, but his personality is like a sword.
Yes, his personality is like a sword. Sasha's Sasha.
Connie's stupid, but pretty good at things.
Yeah, Connie's all right, but pretty stupid. Sasha's this. She moves and has remarkable instincts, but she has issues with structure, making her ill-suited for organized activity.
Erin's not particularly good at anything, but has the strongest will of anyone.
Yes, which is a change from the anime, because Eren is one of the better ones in the anime.
Well, he still graduates in like the top 10 of his class, but that's just because he wants it so much more than anyone, I think.
Yeah, and there's just a nice scene of like Jean's pissed off because I think Annie keeps doing better to him at slicing the Titans, so he thinks I'll earn more points if I get to the Titans first. And then he finds out that Connie has been tracking him, and Connie just gets in front of him.
Yep. And then Connie finds out that Sasha has been tracking him
from above. And then she manages to get in front of the pair of them and take the kill, or the supposed kill.
I like the part where Jean's like, "Stop following me, like seriously." And then Connie's like, "Yeah, stop following us."
Oh, you're following me as well. And then we sort of get, a nice little camp scene where he's just like, "Oh, why are you guys all following me around?" And then they're all saying about how they think Marco would make a good leader.
Yep.
Leader of the pack. And Marco's like, I think Reiner would be a better leader.
No,
is it like Reiner or Jean? Oh, I get those two confused all the time.
Yeah, they look really similar. They look more different in these chapters. Like they've given Jean like this black hair, or like I guess his hair's cut short on the sides.
But yeah, he says, he's like basically, I think you'd make a better person. And then we suddenly flick forward to the future where Jean is helping investigate all the dead bodies from the Battle of the Trost district, and they find Marco, who's just got like half his face and his left and his right side of his body missing. So his arm and half his face is just gone.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he's doing the salute but backwards.
Yes. And it's just like Jean's just so shocked to find him in that situation.
Yeah. And then we see a couple of the other people. We see Annie, who's like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, she's just staring at a dead cadet on the floor who we don't know who that is.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is Jean or Reiner that responds to her. And he's like, "There's no point in apologizing. Let's hurry up and get the funeral over with. After all the training we did." And then we get a training montage.
It was all for nothing. Yeah, because we've got to remember, during the Battle of Trost, they're still technically trainees. They haven't picked their like final bit yet.
Yeah.
And then, it just comes down to Jean making his decision and letting everybody know about the fact that he will join the Survey Corps instead of the military police like he always wanted to.
Mm-hmm. And all of that's happening with like all the bodies burning in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It has to smell awful, but they're really close to the fire.
Really, really close.
We get a flashback to why Marco said Jean would be such a great leader.
Yep.
And it's because he's a weak person.
Yeah, because you're a weak person, so you understand how all of us other weak people feel. And then we actually get to think about them clearing out the Titans using high explosives.
Yep.
So they just basically made the Titans all walk into one wall and just blasted them. But then they captured 2 Titans as well. So they took 2 of them alive.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they have like a bunch of nails in them, which is weird looking. I think they like literally nailed them to the ground.
Yeah, it looks so awful. It looks so painful. And then we get and then we flick to Eren being in jail. So we've moved on from the training and we're back to the end of the Battle of Trost. They've locked Eren up in jail and they're asking him about his dad's sex basement.
Yeah.
How these guys know that the key to the Titans is in the sex basement, I don't know.
I'm guessing maybe they talked to like Mikasa and Armin, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a bit unsure.
So Aaron is waking up after being in a coma for 3 days, just like Jesus.
He's just like Jesus.
Did you say something about Jesus in like episode 1? I can't remember in reference to what.
2,000 years ago, or to those 2,000 years from now. So Aaron is Jesus. Oh, okay.
Aaron is Jesus. Theory confirmed.
Theory confirmed.
So yeah, he's talking to Erwin Smith, who is the leader of the Survey Corps, and Levi Ackerman, who is the strongest man alive, despite being like 5'2".
Yep. Yeah, well, he's just the most skilled person alive, I think, really.
They refer to him as the strongest man alive.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, basically, Captain Levi just he decides that Aaron has no reason to lie. He says, let him go. He'll be my responsibility. He can join the Survey Corps under my supervision, and to tell the king, he'll say it's all right because it's me. It's just like so big-headed.
Yeah, but he's also they ask Aaron, like, what do you want to do? And he says, I just want to enter the Survey Corps and kill Titans. Levi's like,
good answer.
Not bad. But Levi's also not too worried because
he can kill anything.
Yes. He's like, I'm the only one who can handle this.
Yeah, he's basically Bruce Willis in Die Hard. It's just like nothing's going to happen. I'm fine. Do we want to quickly just discuss chapter 18.5?
Yeah, it's a really short one. I do want to talk about it has like a summary of like characters at the top before the chapter starts. And see, I thought one of them was funny. I think, was it Aaron's dad? Who was it? Oh no, it was Aaron's. Where is he? So it says, longing for the world outside the wall. Aaron aims to join the Survey Corps.
He can turn himself into
a Titan. It's just like very like blunt. Like all the other things seem like very normal, and then it's just like, yep, he could be a Titan. Marco's is pretty good too. Yearned to join the military police brigade so he could serve the king. Marco died.
Yes, so this chapter, now what's this lady's name?
I don't know. It's either, I can't tell if those are I's or L's.
Yeah, it's like Lady Ela or something, isn't it?
Ela, I think sounds right. I'm trying to find it. I don't know if it's Eels. It's either IISE, LISE, ILSE, LLSE.
Anyway, basically, there's a lady from the Survey Corps who has lost her horse. She's lost her party. She's running away, and she's hoping not to run into any Titans. And she's writing this down as she goes along. She starts running through the woods, and she does bump into a Titan. So she basically thinks this is the end. She sits next to the tree. The Titan's leaning over her, and then the Titan starts to speak to her. And then actually bows and bows its head in a sort of like respectful way to her and says, "Lady," what does it say?
Ymir.
Yes, a subject of Lady Ymir. Lady Ymir, and then it says, "Well met." She's like, "Oh my God, this is the first time a Titan's ever spoken." She's desperately writing it all down. And then she starts shouting at it, saying, "Why are you here? Why do you have to eat us?" And then it looks up and it's basically ripping its own face off.
Yeah, it's like real creepy. Its hands are so tiny compared to
so tiny.
Its face.
And then, then she runs off and the thing eats her.
Yep.
Oh. Hold on a second, Tyler. Hold on. There's some weird noises going on outside the door. Let me just go check it out quickly. It's Twitter Troy Titan. My leg. He's eating my leg.
Bill?
No. Oh, it's gone. He's eating my bloody leg, Tyler.
If you gotta go back to work, you could just say so. Are you dying?
Oh, damn you, Troy.
Okay, real quick.
What?
What do you think the whole subject of Ymir, Lady Ymir thing is?
Lady Ymir? Ymir? I don't know who she is. I don't know. I kind of just assumed she was some sort of powerful woman, maybe controlling the Titans from afar, maybe from inside the walls. Oh, I don't have a clue.
How do you think the Titan was talking?
What? How's the Titan talking? Oh, he's going to eat me. He's going to eat me. Oh, I assumed it was talking from its anus. Oh, he's eating me. There's so many cats in here. Oh, God, I hope he vomits me up quickly.
Okay, Bill's dead-ish. So I guess let's just go ahead and finish up this episode.
So we're like a year past after this woman died, and Zoe and Levi walk up where she died and find her journal, and they're like, oh dang, this is what she died for. And that's how it ends. So join us again next month when we talk about the female Titan arc. To prepare for it, you need to read chapter 19, Still Can't See, through chapter 34, Soldier's Dance. That's 16 chapters. So it's going to be like our longest one so far. But yeah, join us next time. Please leave us a review on iTunes if you enjoy this. Got any questions for Bill? You can message us either at coordinatepod@gmail.com or just follow us on Twitter, coordinatepod. Yeah, so do that. And we will see you next time. Thanks for listening.
I'm Troy.
And I'm MC.
And we host the best animated shows ever so far.
Where we watch, discuss, and rank every animated show ever, eventually.
Listen in by searching for the best animated shows ever so far on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts, or head to probablywork.com.
Join the conversation by finding us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram by searching Base SFcast. That's BASESFCAST.
And don't change the channel.
This has been a presentation of the We Can Make This Work Probably Network.
Follow us on Twitter
@ProbablyWork for more of our questionable content.
Also, we have a website called probablywork.com.